So we went ahead and grabbed Nitr0 from Team Liquid. He's sitting down with us right now. We just talked to Twists, kind of got his opinion on how you guys performed. Overall, he said, you guys are kind of happy with your performance. What do you take away?
So going into the event, we had a goal of just getting out of groups. We've been setting goals for ourselves as a team because it helps, not to raise our expectations, but just have a goal. So if we reach the goal, then I guess we feel good about ourselves. Making the semifinals is definitely overachieving our goal. So we were very happy.
With the Alls team, you've been around, and one of the more senior members, obviously, on the team now. You've been there through some of the roster changes that have taken place. How hard is it to find consistency when you're having to make certain changes, whether that's Hiko departing, Simple going back home, whatever it may be? How hard have y'all found it to find that consistency?
It's been extremely hard. The hardest thing out of everything with the roster changes is probably establishing a dominant map pool, especially when you get to the higher tier European teams. It's having one good map will not win you a series usually. So it's been extremely hard, and we're still working with Twist as our new fifth. And Stanislaus, he came about 2 months ago, so he's still feeling out the team and all the roles and stuff. So it's been a wild adventure so far, but I think we finally have a 5 we like.
Speaking of map pool, your match against North, Nuke was your guys' pick, and it really didn't work out probably the way you were hoping for.
Yeah.
What happened on that specific map?
On Nuke, I think we weren't playing our own game. We were just trying to isolate a few, we knew some of the tendencies of the players, so we were trying to isolate what they did and exactly how they played and all that stuff, but it came down to us not playing our own game. And I think if we would have played our own game, it would have been closer, but we might not have taken them because they were all playing really well, so.
And kind of on the map pick side of it, their pick being Mirage, y'all actually played really well on Mirage. And on the T side, I noticed there was multiple rounds where y'all would actually be able to execute onto a site, take control of the site, but then their retakes would kind of overpower you guys, whether that's the amount of utility that they were able to save up to come in and do those executes. What was the biggest challenge there? Because I think there was a point where there was almost 8 or 9 rounds in a row where you seemed to have control going into the round, and then you take us through it. What do you think happened to allow them to come back there?
I think we were getting the opening picks. Same on Nuke, we were getting the opening picks. We just couldn't finish mid-gaming. But I think what it came down to is just not taking enough map control on Mirage. We could have taken CT spawn, we could have taken jungle connector. And whenever we were doing our strats, we were 4-manning stuff or 5-manning stuff. So we didn't really have that lurk aspect of the game. So it came down to them just having full utility, which we should have realized, making us take more map control so they can't retake on us from 3 different angles. So I think that's what it came down to in the end.
We were speaking with just players all weekend here. We spoke with Happy and Simple about kind of just how the Pro League format is set up, right? It's 6 North American teams, 6 Europeans. It's the top of the league play, and then they go through. There are some people out there that say it might not be the best setup because you do have top European teams like Astralis and FaZe, for example, not qualifying. Do you find that to be fair as far as just taking the top 6 from both sides?
I think it's fair. Based on the last 2 seasons, we've had a lot of NA teams or Brazilian teams, which is pretty much NA, right? They've been making the finals. SK won the season 2 seasons ago, and C9 won last season. So I think it's fair until I don't know. It's just, in my eyes, I see it as fair.
You seem to be one of the more hype guys on the team when it comes to getting on the big stage. You're the one that's always pumping your fist, seems to get your team going. What drives you when you get onto the big stage? Obviously, just being in front of the fans, but how much do you love still performing on the big stage?
Ever since Columbus and the last 2 majors, or not Atlanta, but the last 2 majors before that, Columbus and Cologne, it's just a over-exhilarating feeling. It's just something you can't explain in words. You have to be there and experience it yourself to know that you can't take it for granted, I guess.
Yeah.
So just whenever I get another chance to be on a stage, I have to take advantage of it and just have fun.
I was explaining to Anuj here, because I was at MLG Columbus and everything, and it's kind of like how you said, you kind of have to be there, because I was explaining to him, when you guys took stage I believe it was in the semis against SK, where the entire crowd basically started standing up and singing the anthem, right? The national anthem with no background music or anything, and it gave me chills. I mean, is that something you guys notice while on stage? Because really, you guys are all huddled up, you're doing your thing. How much do you notice while you're on stage from the fans?
I mean, I didn't really hear the national anthem because we had the headsets on and all that stuff. So
do those really work?
Yeah, they
the
work.
Soundproof headsets. Okay, I've always wondered.
But it's definitely like an amazing feeling having the crowd behind you. For like Columbus, Cologne, this event, we've always had the crowd behind us, so it's such a good feeling. But I mean, you can't really hear anything, but you know that they're cheering for you. Like when you do something cool, like you see them all standing up and like their little like blow up things or hit each other or whatever. Whatever they're called.
I'm glad you like them. They're so loud.
The only thing you can hear is like whenever your teammates or whatever hold down their mics to hear like just screaming.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, it's such a good feeling.
And, kind of to end it on a high note, you guys are become the hope of NA, from, like you said, the Columbus to Cologne, now to here. Is that like an added pressure to you guys, knowing that you're the team that is now expected to get, onto the big stage and kind of have the hopes of all of NA, watching you guys play? Is that an added pressure, you feel?
Maybe for the team as a whole, it may feel like an added pressure, but for me personally, I don't really think about outside things. I don't let outside things affect like what I'm gonna think about the game or how I want to perform or something like that. It's just I usually just play my own game and I do my best and don't let any outside aspects affect anything.